Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Me, Matt, and our mate Connor went to go and see Send Help yesterday. We're gonna do a review. You'll notice that I'm not doing the normal shorts that we do. That's kind of going to be one of the changes for our channel. Is that the problem with shorts is they're good because you can literally just film it and then in 3 minutes you can just post it and you're done. But the problem is you're trying to cram like 3 minutes worth of information into a 3 minute video, and you end up leaving so much stuff out. You can't really go in depth with everything. So I've decided, you know what? It's one of my New Year's things. We're going to do proper reviews, and I'm going to give you as much of an in-depth review as possible today. You'll be pleased to know I do actually have some notes. I wasn't sitting in the cinema like writing notes last night when watching the film, but I have just scribbled down some stuff that I have just thought of. Not like a script. Actually, to be fair, I should probably start doing a script because when I turn on the camera to do shorts, I just go send. Sometimes it takes one take, sometimes it takes fucking 50 because I keep messing up. But hey, this is me being more prepared. So, we went to go and see Send Help. This is directed by Sam Raimi and stars Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. Basic plot of this is you have an overworked office worker, played by Rachel McAdams, who goes on this business trip with her dickhead CEO boss, played by Dylan O'Brien. The plane crashes, everyone else dies, apart from those two. And now the power dynamic shifts, and now she has to take charge and kind of look after him. That's all I'm going to say on the plot so far. Okay, so this is directed by Sam Raimi, who, if you recognise that name, he has given us probably two of the most iconic trilogies out there. He's given us the Evil Dead trilogy and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy. Two very different things. So this is his first horror movie in, I believe, since Drag Me to Hell, which I have not seen. I've heard it's really good. I need to watch that one. But yeah, I mean, when his name came, when I saw the plot for this film, and I went, oh yeah, that sounds like an interesting enough plot, bit like a Castaway thing. And then it said directed by Sam Raimi. I was like, yep, I'm in. You know it's going to be batshit insane. So yeah, let's get into it. So you have Rachel McAdams as her, I believe her name is Linda Little, who is just, she is the star of this movie, absolutely. And I've got to give her a 10 out of 10 for taking on this role. Apparently Sam Raimi, when he worked with her in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, he was desperate to work with her again, and that's why he cast her in this movie. Rachel McAdams taking on this role, I'll give her a 10 out of 10 because this is not a glamorous role. She plays someone who's very kind of awkward, very kind of cringy sort of thing. But that's the thing, they toe that line between you like her because she's charming and she's likable, but you also kind of understand why no one wants to be friends with her, because as I said, she's very awkward, she's very cringy, she says things that you're kind of like, oh, that was okay. But yeah, you absolutely love her. And it's great seeing her at the beginning of this film where, again, she's this kind of awkward, kind of like not so sure of herself. But you do have it shown early on that she's a big fan of the show Survivor. So that when the plane does go down and they end up on this desert island, the power dynamic then shifts around. And because she's watched Survivor, she knows all the different survival tactics, like how to build a shelter, how to get water, how to hunt for food. And suddenly you get to see this sort of like character development in a way where, by the end of the film, she's like a completely different person. And that's great. I love movies where a character goes through a proper metamorphosis, and that's great. Next is Dylan O'Brien, who is the kind of like the other part of this movie, because a lot of this film is a two-hander between these two characters. Dylan O'Brien, yeah, he plays an absolute douche. he's just this scumbag CEO. He has this really weird laugh, like kind of thing. Sound like Boise from Only Fools. But yeah, now this is a character who on paper is really, really annoying and could very easily just irritate the fuck out of the audience. But they make him such a funny character that he's so entertaining, and you can't help but like love it when he's kind of being a little bit of a man child because he doesn't know how to build shelters, but she does, and it's kind of that sort of thing. And I thought that was so funny, and the chemistry between these two on this desert island is so funny. Watching the power dynamic just slowly change was so entertaining. So again, this is a Sam Raimi movie. So there's going to be some fucked up, goofy horror elements to it. And here's the thing. If you've got a friend who is interested in seeing this film, but doesn't know who Sam Raimi is, don't tell them. Because it'd be such a nice surprise when they're sitting there watching it going, okay, desert island movie, okay, oh God, oh, yeah, this is a violent film. There's one particular scene with a boar where both me and my mates were sitting there going, oh God, oh. And there is one scene that you'll know it when it comes up, when you watch the film, which involves a knife and Dylan O'Brien's character. And you don't see what happens. All you see is his reaction to it, and you just hear noises, and you're just sitting there going, we all sat there going, oh God, oh, But yeah, that was great. And he's also collaborated again with Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman did the score for this movie, who also did the score for the Spider-Man trilogy. And Danny Elfman is a great composer. He has this kind of real kind of theatrical sort of vibrato with his score. So yeah, he was great. Loved his work on this movie. Now, I will say this about this movie. I read something somewhere. When a new movie comes out and they describe it as, it's this movie meets this movie, and like that. And I wish I hadn't read that before I saw the film. Because once I read that it was this meets this, that was when I sort of started to guess where the plot was going and what kind of, what direction we were heading in. Which meant that it wasn't as much of a surprise as you think it's going to be with that knowledge going into it. So I advise stay away from as many obviously stay away from reviews. I am keeping this as spoiler free as possible, guys. But yeah, I think the less you know going into this movie, the better. Don't even watch a trailer. That's the problem with so many trailers nowadays, is they spoil so much. I mean, if you look at like Blumhouse's movie, you watch the trailer for a Blumhouse movie and you go, I've seen the whole film. I don't need to see this movie. The trailer for this movie doesn't necessarily spoil anything, but again, I'd say the blinder you go into this, the better. What else have we got down here? There is only one thing I will say, which is kind of a negative. Oh, sorry. Backpedal a bit. This is a very, very funny film. I think this is probably Sam Raimi's funniest film. It's such a great... I mean, there were moments where me and my mates were just pissing ourselves laughing. It's mainly between character interaction and character reactions to the situation, and the zaniness of this situation. Yeah, it is a very funny film. So yeah, it's sort of like a bit of a dark comedy. That's the thing. Would I call it a horror movie? Not really. There's horror elements to it. There's even like one jump scare which came out of nowhere, which we all went, oh fuck. I'd say it's more like a dark comedy thriller. That's probably how I'd describe it. So sorry. This is why I'm writing notes, guys. I'm trying to be a bit more structured. The one thing I will say, which is not really, I don't think it's a negative. It's something that might grow on me over time. And again, I say this with no spoilers. I feel like the last 5-10 minutes of this movie felt very rushed. It felt like, oh, here we go, here comes the climax, and then 5 minutes later we're like, bye, see ya. And you're like, oh, okay. And again, I don't know if it's an ending where I'm kind of here on the ending, sort of like I'm in this middle bit where it could swing either way. It could swing to, the more I sit on it, the more I think, do you know what? I love how just batshit the ending is and how quirky the ending is, and I really like it. Or the more I sit on it, I could think, do you know what? That ending felt a bit rushed, didn't feel earned, but hey, who knows? It could go one of two ways. So yeah, overall, I really, really enjoyed this movie. I definitely think if you're a fan of Sam Raimi, this is like proper Sam Raimi, R-rated. He's back, you know. He's sort of stepped away from the superhero genre for now, and he's going back to doing what he does best, which is these zany, R-rated horror flicks. Even though I wouldn't say this is quite a horror thing, but it's going in the right direction. As a rating, I'm going to say, add this one to your collection. I'm going to get the 4K, I'm going to stick it on my shelf. Absolutely. This is 100% one of the best Sam Raimi movies I've seen. And it actually kind of makes you want to go back and rewatch the Evil Dead trilogy. So, yeah. So, guys, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this slightly longer movie review. Let me know what you think down in the comments, whether you like it, whether you think that the shorts are actually a lot better. But yeah, guys, if you like this, and if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.